Legalize It campaign has been going on for quite a while. Started off, of course, with, maybe not started off, but he was the most vocal of them all, Peter Tosh. Rita Marley as well, also added a voice to it. This one released in 1981. That's One Draw. A song that was so controversial that it sold. It sold. Maybe it's controversy that sells. And that song over there is number 10 of his all-time reggae songs. Good evening, Tim.
Good evening, please.
Yeah, good to have you here. Good to have you here. How we have started off with the controversy.
You should have been here many years ago.
You should have been. I'm going to blame that on Mystery. Because I've been doing this for about, 3 years, 4 years. And he was doing it before and still, bring you in. But hey, at least it's never,
Blame it on the boogie, as the Jacksons would say.
Blame it on the boogie. Well, it's 12 minutes after the hour. I'm in the studio with Tim. I don't know if I should introduce you. I don't know if I'll do justice to Timothy Kalyegira. Do you want to take the honors?
Well, I'm called Timothy Kalyegira. That's what my passport alleges.
Uh-huh.
And I'm quite a fan of reggae.
Yeah.
I work in the media quite a lot in Uganda. Recently, I've got myself into a Facebook newspaper called the Kampala Express.
Yeah.
Those of you who haven't seen it, you can visit it, like it. A few of you can love it, if it must come to that. And yes, and here I am.
Here you are.
Happy to be on this show, which I listen to religiously.
Good to know.
It's one of my constant shows. I think I mentioned that to Mystery time ago.
As a matter of fact, one of the reasons why I knew it was going to be good to invite you is because you know about the show. He had told me about it a couple of years ago. So, in the studio today, being the Reggae Session, while everyone else likes doing their team, or let's call them Babylon here, we're just going to talk about your reggae story. Your top 10 reggae hits of all time. I'm sure it was quite a hard job. Coming up with the top 10 can be very hard.
Very difficult. I put up the list on the Kampala Express Facebook page this afternoon. Got the predictable criticism by people who missed the point and began, how can you not have John Holt and not have Burning Spear and all the others on this? I said, people, it's just personal. It's like me say, I like portion, beans. It's not. Yes, Italian cuisine is great, but this is my favorite music. It's more the sentiment, the personal memories, than the fact that I was trying to do a list for some reggae awards show. So that's what my point was. But of course, as social media is, we tend to miss points a bit. Anyway, so what's the first question?
My first question is, when you first came in contact with this music genre, it's one that not so many Ugandans know, but you can let us know.
Well, as I say, in my early teens, just around the time Bob Marley had died, it had always been, for many of us who grew up in the 1970s, it was the usual, the mainstream pop. It wasn't Congolese music, it was the Bee Gees, ABBA, Bonnie M, Eruption, that staple 1970s diet. And reggae wasn't much, if I remember, even at parties in the Uganda in the 1970s, just wasn't as a child, there wasn't much reggae.
Okay.
And then the Bob Marley's, even with these albums like the Exoduses that we now know classics, I don't remember that as something people played at a party and people said, hey, we play more of that. But I think after Bob Marley's death, that death became one of these Martin Luther King moments when even if you're not part of the civil rights movement, it crosses over into the mainstream. The death of people like Marilyn Monroe, even if you're interested in the models, you get interested in that. So the first reggae song I remember that struck me was this "Could You Be Loved" from that the final album.
Yes, Uprising.
Uprising, Could You Be Loved? That
very good.
Yes, you can imagine the child not raised with that bit, and then that struck me. Now it's not on the list here, not because it's bad, but as you said, there's only so much space.
There's only so much space. Yes.
So then I began developing interest, as in all over in a school called Yakasura in Fort Portal, where people seem to like reggae music a lot. So that's when this began seeping to me slowly but slowly. And much of it, of course, was Bob Marley. Although as a child, when I remember now, my mother, unless my parents had this Jimmy Cliff music.
Yeah.
that '69 album, the Wonderful World, Beautiful
Yes,
People,
yes.
Hard Road to Travel. I remember the single on this, the Decca Records. No, was it the Decca Records? This white and orange label of the 45s.
You're taking us to school here, by the way.
Yes, for those of you for whom music is downloading and streaming, now get to know there used to be something called
Shots are being
vinyl,
taken here.
something
Okay.
slightly bigger than a CD.
Oh yes. Oh,
Yes, and those are the 45-inch, what people used to call the small record with a big hole,
Yeah, yeah.
and what you call the LP records.
Yeah.
If you don't know that, better start going to music school and being educated. So anyway, Jimmy Cliff for me was the child memories. Going back west.
Yeah,
That album,
yeah.
The Harder They Come, was that reggae album, reggae film. It was a film in which Jimmy Cliff, I think, was a lead actor. So it was the first film in which reggae became sort of like a mainstream story
Yeah.
and made Jimmy Cliff, incidentally, the first reggae superstar.
Yes.
This is before
Yes.
Bob
Oh,
Marley.
before Bob, because
Yes.
I remember he was the headline star for Island Records.
It was
Yeah.
exactly, yes.
Mm.
And then just, of course, the Wailers, slowly by slowly, after the incident in which, of course, Bob Marley was shot, then the Wailers become a
Yeah.
mainstream. So that's where it comes. So to the first track, 1981,
One.
I think, when
Yeah.
after the year Bob Marley died, his
Mm.
widow Rita Marley released an album, Harambe, it was. I've got
Yes.
the LP at home.
Yeah.
And she had been one of the I3s, the official backup, female backup group,
Yes.
Marcia Barrett.
Together with Marcia and
Marcia Griffith, Rita Marley,
and Judy Maud.
Judy Maud, exactly.
Yeah.
So, lo and behold, she comes out with an album which many of us said, well, this is Wailers stuff. I mean,
Did it have a quick question? Did it have nothing to do with the fact that she was Marley's wife? Do you think that could have been could have played?
because I wasn't at that time conscious of all this Bob Marley, the beginnings of Bob Marley now becoming this almost at the highest Selassie level of
Yeah.
mythology.
Mythology,
But
yes.
just the sound of it, you heard it at the beginning as it was playing. That, that heavy beat,
Mm,
that
mm.
struck me. That production, the heavy bass, and Rita Marley singing, separate from the sentiment, and it wasn't as if it became a great success.
No.
But just the production alone, separate from anything else, that song One Draw could have fitted on any of the Wailers albums and been incredible. I was impressed by that, so that's one of my top 10.
Well, we've got 9 more songs to play. Your number 9 is something from an artist who passed on, in 2006, Joseph Hill. Very many people confuse Culture the band with Joseph Hill, the lead singer. And this one is something, he was going on about something Marcus Garvey had been going on about, the Black Starliner. Culture, why Culture?
Well, just once again, why not Culture? Culture is, first of all, in terms of his vocals, if you're not an active added music fan,
Yeah.
very easy to confuse the vocals of Joseph Hill with Black Burning Spear. That
Yes,
heavy
yes,
bass and that
yes, I've
raw
heard that before. Yes.
Jamaican sound, yes.
Yeah.
So, when I got the LP, the first LP, 1978, Two Sevens Clash.
2 Sevens Clash. Yes.
Yes, there is the Two Sevens Clash and many others, but really that
That
raw
was the one.
roots, that sincere raw roots sound. Most of the songs on that album are very good, but now it is this that struck me. My liking for reggae, apart from the message, roots reggae, is also that there's also this very sensitive ear in me that requires music to sound beautiful above the message.
Yes.
Which explains to those critics on Facebook why did I not, put some of these other songs. Good songs by the Lucianos, good songs by
John Holt, Israel
yes.
Vibration.
But I also need the sound to be beautiful, just like the way the Beatles came in. Yes, it was rock, but they also tried, the Beatles and the Bee Gees, make it sound beautiful. So the Wailers, especially this album, I think was it 90 Dread, the 1974.
74,
From
yes.
that point, the last album, this album Catch a Fire, was the last of the rawish.
The raw, yes.
But when this 74 album comes in, they begin to start paying attention to beautifying the music. When the synthesizers start coming in the late 1970s, especially in Exodus, and I think the one before this, Rastaman Vibration, 1976.
Yes.
The need for the music to be beautiful, separate from the great message. That's why, for me, it's more than just the message, but also the beat. So, I guess that Black Liner, well, the whole Marcus Garvey story, and what.
Well, we'll be talking reggae this entire hour, his top 10. We've started off with One Draw, and we're going into that song from, I think the most, in my opinion, my favorite Culture album, 2 Sevens Clash. This is
The
Black
debut album, yes,
Starliner, sorry.